When you live a soft life, there are no gray areas. It's either black or white when you decide to live a soft life. So if you want to hear these 4 tips on how to live a soft life, keep watching. Hey GlamFam, welcome back to the channel Besties. Thank you for tuning in to Motivation 101. If you are about living a soft life, 2024, everything else is in the past. When you live a soft life, there are no gray areas. It's either black or white when you decide to live a soft life. So if you want to hear these 4 tips on how to live a soft life, keep watching. So the first thing you want to do in living a soft life is live intentionally within your means. Think of the things that you like to do. Think of the things that you enjoy doing, and then you make plans in your budget for those things. And if at this present moment you cannot afford to do those things, it's okay to put them on hold and get yourself financially stable, because living intentionally within your means will mean that you need to cut back on some things, cut back on how you're spending in order to live a softer life. It depends also on what you like to do. So if there are areas where you can cut back on spending money in one area to accommodate another area, then that would be something you might want to look at. But living intentionally, the key word here is intentionally. That means you're making every effort, planning out as you go along. You make the money. How are you going to spend the money? Because it's so much easier to spend it than to save it. Create a routine or a schedule and try to stick to it. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you're not careful, you'll use the same social media and destroy a schedule that you might have created for yourself. Because why? Then you start to compare yourself with other people. Never compare yourself to your neighbor, to the person that looks like they're getting ahead. A lot of times they're not getting ahead. You need to focus on you. That's why you're not moving. So you want to make sure that you're creating a schedule for yourself and stick into that schedule or stick into that routine, and you make room within your schedule, because the schedule is yours. I don't like to be like, when I go to my job, I am on a schedule. So I have to get up a certain time so that I can be there on time. So that would mean I am on somebody's schedule. However, they're paying me to be on that schedule. When I get breaks, I now look forward to taking my breaks. Why? Because when I take my breaks, or when I get my breaks rather, I can do what I want to do. I am on my own schedule. So what you want to do is create that schedule, and you want to stick to the schedule. Try not to be too hard on yourself, but in the same time, you are making strides and you are accomplishing your small goals. Make a list. Our last motivational video, which I'll be linking in the description below, make a list so that you can check off the things that are important. Because guess what? The things that we have to do are, I feel like they're never ending. They are never ending, but you want to avoid burnout. You have to create yourself a schedule. Now, when you create that schedule, it should come naturally. It's not supposed to feel like you're pushing yourself, you're forcing yourself. That schedule should be somewhat loose, so you give yourself room to just kind of play around, because like I said before, you are on your schedule and not on the schedule of someone else. Number 3, you want to set boundaries. Set the boundaries and you stick to those boundaries, because people in this life are, how should I say this? Evil. I feel like there are people created to just distract. And I mean, they weren't created to distract. The enemy cannot work unless he has a body to work through. And so he sends out monitoring agents, and then he kind of see who he can use, because he knows how to get under your skin and he knows what will frustrate you, because that's his job, right? Avoid the free headaches. Anything that's going to cause you a headache, let it go. Headaches, they come so freely. Like for me, like these days, I just don't have the patience. And what I find is that until we actually get into a certain situation, it's always easy to just motivate and motivate somebody else. So this soft life is not just to motivate you guys, this is also for me. Because at this point in my life, and I've learned this the hard way, I am being intentional about avoiding headaches, avoiding the dents in our bank account, because some people, listen, takers have no limit. So the givers need to put a limit on stuff. Some people will not call your phone unless they need something from you. Most of the time, money. And I feel like in my culture, we say, tan pan crooked and cut straight. Me tan pan crooked and cut straight, not so that someone else can tear me down, not so that someone else can put my family in a position where we are going to be in need. I don't like to feel like I cannot accomplish something financially. Any money that you don't think you're willing to lose it, don't lend it. Because I feel like you will lose friendship, you will lose relationships. If you want to lose some relationships and some friendships, lend them some money. Lend money if you want to get rid of some people in your life. Because I don't know what it is with people and money, especially money that's not theirs. You borrow money and you don't want to repay. That's ridiculous to me. The Bible says, don't go owing a single thing. Now, it's okay to borrow. And if someone was generous enough to lend it to you, I think it's only fair that you repay. I went to a training the other day, and our colleague was talking about rest and how much we're pouring from an empty cup. And that is so true, because we were created to serve. And so because you are serving and you might find so much joy in serving that eventually you will get burnt out, and you want to avoid being burnt out. So you want to make sure that you're resting. I am being intentional about getting to bed a certain time, and because of the daylight saving time, when I wake up in the morning, it's so dark, it still feels like nighttime, and I don't want to get out of bed. So I try to make sure that I go to bed so that I can get all those sleep cycles in, and that way my alarm does not have to wake me up. And that way I'm not so cranky. So whenever your alarm wakes you up, it could be that your sleep cycle ended abruptly, and so you just did not complete a cycle, and it makes you cranky. I'll create a video on that, because it was such a very good presentation, and I have some points that I kind of took notes on, and I'm gonna share it with you guys, because I've really seen where, okay, if I apply these things to my life, then it can really make a difference. It's okay to say no. You don't have to be the yes girl, the yes guy. It's okay to say no. If I tell you no, it's really not within my power to do it. If I say no, it's no. And just know that at this point, I cannot help. And if I say yes, my yes is my yes and my no is my no. But there are times when you have to say no. Especially like for me, I don't like to do things at the last minute. And I don't like people throwing or asking me to do things at the last minute. I get flustered, I get anxious, because that's just not me. I like to stay organized, and if you're gonna ask my help, you need to ask my help in advance so that mentally I can prepare for whatever it is that you're asking me to do. And even if I do help you at the last minute, I like to give my 100%. Anything I'm doing, I am giving my 100%. If you ask me at the last minute, chances are that might not be my best input, my best performance, whatever it is that you're asking me to do. But sometimes it's okay to say no. The final thing that I want to talk about is to building emotional intelligence. I think we need to control the responses that we give to people. Nobody should pull a certain response from you. You are supposed to be, people will upset you, but you are supposed to still be in control of how you respond to that person, right? So in that case, you're building your emotional intelligence in terms of, how do I react to this situation? If, let's say you're disappointed, let's say you're disappointed, or let's say you've been hurt, you have to, and this is something that I've experienced quite recently. And it's always easy to, like I was saying earlier, to motivate someone, and until you are actually in the situation. But I find that when I get lost in thought, or if I feel like I'm continuously stuck, I'll listen to music. Find something that works for you. Find something to get you unstuck, because if you are unstuck, then you're eventually going to be in a dark place. You do not want to be in a dark place, because guess what? Nothing takes place in the dark. Nothing positive will take place in the darkness. In the darkness, you struggle. In the darkness, if you think of the physical darkness, you're unable to find your way. And so I want to be in the light. Let there be light. I want to be in the light. I want to be in the know. I want to always be in control of how I respond to situations that are going on in my life, while still having a positive outlook on life, because there are going to be days when you're burdened. There are going to be days when you just don't feel like things are going the way they're supposed to. But it's really up to you, the response that comes out. Nobody's supposed to pull a response out of you to the point where after you responded, you're like, oh my gosh, I should not have said that. I should not have reacted that way. Yeah. Build your emotional intelligence to know when to speak, to know when to not speak. And if you develop to a positive vocabulary, even if you're angered, even if somebody upsets you, for me, I'll cry, journal. I've found that ever since I was a teenager, journaling really does help when you're able to write down those feelings. You can't express the emotions the way you would want to. Write your feelings down, no matter what's going on. And I know this is hard. It's hard, but it's something that you'll have to be intentional about. Keep a positive outlook on life. While you're trying to lead this soft life, you're keeping a positive outlook. It doesn't matter what's going on. It might be raining, it might be snowing, it might be storming outside, but the positive outlook, or there's always going to be a positive spin. Just know that it will not rain forever. It will not snow forever, because the sun will come out again. So if you did find some value in this video, do give us a thumbs up. We create a motivational video at the end of every month, and we are going to put some other videos up here that you can check out before you go.
Thank you for watching this video. Comment.